So I am Erin Riley. I am the executive producer. You probably see me working behind the scenes to build the partnerships and work a lot on the narrative and the narrative architecture with Sven, working to have our different classes and the students in our specific classes kind of coordinating, making sure that we have a common thread and theme throughout.
My name is Sven Otel. I'm an associate professor of practice in the Department of Theatre and Dance. I also have an appointment in the Department for Arts and Entertainment Technology, and I lead an MFA program called Integrated Media. And this class is actually one of the classes that I lead and have led that is part of this MFA.
My name is Deepak Chetty. I'm an assistant professor of practice at UT Austin in the Department of Radio, Television, and Film. Erin Riley at the Stan Richards School introduced me to Dr. Jha. I was then introduced to Sven and you all by way of that to collaborate on this project. I brought what I could in terms of consultation and sort of conceptual and some software advice, but it's really amazing to see what everybody's done, especially as a team, putting this together, because it's something that we've never had set up here at UT before in this way, and it's really mind-blowing.
Yeah, my name is Morba Jha, and I'm an associate professor of aerospace engineering and engineering mechanics here at the University of Texas at Austin. I really enjoyed the process of being kind of in the middle of it, virtually speaking, because, at most, people can go to this website, but it's all really two-dimensional. I mean, even if the data are supposed to represent three-dimensional kind of things in space, you just can't really get a good sense of the relationship between things. And I think what this experience really helps do is it takes the person from this very far away, two-dimensional, flat kind of environment and just brings them into the middle of it so that they can experience the different relationships between all these things.
I'm Logan Smith. I helped design this dome. I'm also a third-year integrated media design student in basically the last 2 weeks of his MFA, which is crazy to me. But one of the things that I had to do in this project was design this dome that would actually fit inside this space. And there were a few constraints with it. Like, it had to be something that we could really make and something that could actually function in the real world. So this is the final dome that we ended up with. This is the final dome that we came up with in this semester. And though it might change as it moves into the real world, everything is designed to be actually buildable. So we ended up with these flat panels from the shape of a dodecahedron, which if you've played Dungeons and Dragons, it's a dice. But it's essentially 2/3 of a dodecahedron, and if we look straight up, then you can see that there's a point that it comes to with 2 pentagons and several pentagons around the space with 2 trapezoids on the side. I believe this is one of those trapezoids on the sides. And it just kind of has this feeling of structure while also being an immersive space and able to curve back in on itself. It also serves another purpose where we can use less projectors and have better focus distances with projectors on these walls because they are flat panels.
My name is Chris Conard. I served as the physical lighting designer, sort of orienting the lighting within the space and physical space, and I worked with Jackson to replicate what was happening in the virtual space inside of Unreal Gaming Engine. I also helped put together the storyboard so that we could create the different camera angles and trying to sort of figure out what the process was going to be for the filming. Served as a technical directing advisor or consultant. So obviously we're sitting in a virtual dome space here that's surrounding me. And I think Ben could very quickly change the virtual space behind me. I don't know if he wants to right now, Ben. Do you want to put something virtual back there? Change the background so we're not sitting in front of UT Tower. There we go. This is a virtual dome, but this is meant to be representative of the dome that will ultimately be created in physical space and reality. So when Logan, Ben, Jackson, and I were working through the physical design of the space, we were chatting about what those parameters might be and what that could be. So this virtual space is representative of a physical space that would be created out of steel and projection surfaces and projectors, projection fabric. But it's right now in its virtual form just sort of representing what it could be or will be eventually in time.
Yeah, so I was in charge of the data visualization on top of the virtual dome. Basically all the content that you see projected around me. Essentially, the designer of the dome, Logan, gave me a canvas that I painted all of the visualization for astrograph, space, and any other content that we needed on the dome. And basically what that included is scraping data from real-time satellites that are circling Earth, transforming those into a point sprite map, which is represented by all the different dots in astrograph, and wrapping that in a 360 view so that when you go inside of the dome, you actually see the correct position and orientation of all these satellites around you, as if you are on Earth and you're looking up and seeing all of these satellites around you.
Hello, my name is Michael Bruner. I'm a third-year integrated media student in the Department of Theater and Dance. And on this project, I've been helping put together the kind of behind-the-scenes system that makes the tracking of the camera possible. Yeah, so in a mixed reality shoot, kind of the key component to making it work is having your physical and your digital camera aligned in the same positions. And to do that, we've been using a Vive system, which is actually a product you can buy for your house to do virtual reality in. And so they have some small trackers that you can place on different objects and bring those into your virtual scene. So we just have one of those placed on our camera, and that lets us figure out where the camera should be in the virtual space and keep that relationship when we move the camera around and create pans and stuff. There's a couple challenges in getting virtual and digital cameras aligned. The first one is just getting the data into your software, so we're using Unreal Engine. And they've actually made it quite easy to get that data in and attach it to your camera correctly and get all that going, so that's not too challenging. What we found to be more challenging was just really getting like the camera optics between the digital camera and the physical camera correct. So making sure you have the correct sensor size, making sure that your lens is correct, and making sure all of those little offsets are in there correctly. Because if you don't have that, things kind of slide around, and if you do a pan or tilt, you'll notice that the digital and the physical world aren't perfectly aligned. So getting that, it's really in these micro details. And doing that just takes a lot of iteration and experimentation to get right.
We're in a point where everything is changing, and we are in a place where we can actually respond to changes much quicker and be pioneers together with all the people that are working in the professional world solving the same problem. So rather than traditionally looking at the industry and seeing what they're doing and then seeing whether we can emulate it or we can do a version of that and teach it, we are actually solving the same problems or creating experiences that respond to the moment at the very same time.
My name is Zoe Crow. I'm a second-year integrated media designer. I've learned that it's really cool to be working on something that is also happening in the industry right now, and that we're like on the front end of it versus the back end. And that I've learned that if every person has like a base knowledge of what everyone else is doing, but not like overbearing or like breathing down other people's necks, that it's really efficient and really good to like be able to talk and help problem solve together, but then everyone has their own thing that they're doing. It's been really fun working on this project. A lot of my role has come now as we're filming versus before building the stuff. So it's been really cool to see everything come together and be able to like so smoothly move into filming.
What I think really helped bring everybody together was being here in this space. And I'm not speaking about the virtual space here, but the real space in the studio. Not just the communications that we have, the real communications, verbal communications that we have, but just the whole team being here together and seeing everybody work and do their specific role or play out their specific roles in order to create this really is surprising and exciting really to an extent to see how it all happened in the background with Zoom meetings and how we were talking about what was happening essentially in each person's home and behind the screen, what was happening behind their screen, to coming together in one room and seeing all of that work, essentially plug and play.
So my name's Jackson Cobb, and I am a first-year integrated media student. So I have two main roles on the project. One of them hasn't started yet. I am the editor on the project, so I'm going to start editing this footage in the upcoming week for the teaser that, if you're watching this, you probably already saw. And the other role that I had was kind of the XR lighting programmer. So I'm working on more traditional mediums like lighting and sound and helping to integrate those into a newer XR space.
We've never had something like this the way you all have set it up, where we have the lights working in concert with the virtual lights, which really, as far as I'm concerned, pushes this into the next level. So it's not just a live key, but you're really, blending both worlds pretty much the best way you can, short of us actually having an LED volume around here.
I guess that, on screen it maybe looks simple, I guess, or like maybe that it just works, but that it actually takes a lot of hard work, a lot of people, and a lot of collaboration to get it to look so good on screen.
Booyah.
If somebody would have told you that you're going to be talking to a bunch of students about an XR shoot that's promoting a immersive experience that's trying to draw attention to the challenge of space debris, what would you have said a year ago?
A year ago, I would have said that sounds like an exciting way to use mixed reality pipelines, because you're involving something that's already kind of ethereal and intangible like space. And so I would have liked the idea and the motivation behind a project that was trying to showcase something that feels intangible. I really like the projects that use XR or AR in ways to show us things that we don't really see, but that are all around us. And so I think the use of XR in this case is really valuable, because we're trying to show people all of this space junk that is around us all the time, but we have no idea actually that it's there. And so I think I would have been excited about it, and I still am.